Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to one more episode of Witness with Wahid. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making me part of your evening fare, welcoming me into your sitting rooms. Today, what I'm going to do for you is this. We have a guest in this country, and he will forgive me if I mispronounce his name. My Dutch is not that good. It's Arnoud van Doorn, and he's been here as our honorable guest, and we are very well known for our hospitality, as you know. Some of you have heard that, and I suggest that you take me with a grain of salt on this one. Some of us are of the opinion that there is a set way of life and there is nothing else. In this particular program, I always aim to show my friends, both here in the Maldives, that no, there are different ways of looking at life. And I think our guest this evening will clearly show us, show me, show you what this is all about. So without any further ado, let me introduce my friend, my brother, Arnoud van Doorn. And may I call you Arnoud during
this program? Of course, just call me Arnoud.
Thank you. So welcome to the Maldives, sir, and thank you so much for coming here.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
Your name has been on the media, you know, in very, very, very controversial circumstances, yes. But that's not where we are going. You've lectured in this country, we've listened to you. Some of us would be interested to find out where the real man comes from.
Right.
So Arnoud, do tell me a little bit about yourself, especially, you know, how you became aware of the world from that point on, you know, childhood and so on, schooling, background, that sort of thing. If you wouldn't mind?
Sure, no problem. Well, my name is, of course, Arnoud van Doorn, and you pronounce it very well.
Your kindness, sir.
So, now I'm 48 years old. I'm married. I have 3 sons. The youngest is 10 years, no, he's 11 years old, sorry. Oops. And the eldest is 23. And I came from a very traditional Christian family. I have a Christian background. And I have very good memories of my youth. Very pleasant youth. I came from a very warm family, and I'm raised with, you know, be tolerant, be wise, and you should respect other cultures and other religions. So everything what happened to me later, I don't blame my parents, because my parents did all they could. And they did their best.
And where exactly did you grow up, if you don't mind me asking?
I grew up in, I was born and raised in the Netherlands, in The Hague.
Oh, there you are.
And I lived there since I was born, and I never left. And The Hague is basically officially Amsterdam is the capital of The Hague, of the Netherlands, but The Hague is, you know, where the government is, and the parliament, and where the royal family lives, and all the embassies are there, and international institutions. Right. So basically The Hague is the unofficial capital of the Netherlands.
To pick up on something you said you don't blame your parents.
No, because later on, as you probably know, I was very critical about Islam, like so many other people in Western countries, especially in the Netherlands.
Did this happen to you at school, or?
No, I think it happened. Well, these things start during, you know, when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, because everything you read and see on television or read in newspapers in Western countries about Islam is negative.
Okay.
Everything, so it will influence your mind and the way you think about Islam. And I said, I don't blame my parents, because my parents raised me with the idea that you have to be tolerant and open-minded to everybody. But, you know, environment, media, newspapers, politicians, schools, their influence is much bigger, unfortunately, than all the good-willing parents.
Hate to do this to you, but, you know, in this country, do you think it might happen, could happen, would happen to young people?
Well, there's always a risk that young people are misguided if they get the wrong information. And what I have seen in this country, especially today, is that this country is being very wise in dealing with protection of young people of children from any kind of misinformation and misinterpretation of Islam and other evil anti-Islam influences. So by make sure that the people here have the right information, the right education and the freedom to become a Muslim and the right interpretation of the Quran, that is something that is very important, and it's something that is great. How it's done
So
in this country.
there is a lot of social responsibility when it comes to not only the parents but also the society in general.
Definitely, definitely, especially media, politicians, and other role models. They have a great responsibility in protecting, especially young people, especially at the age of 13, 14, 15 years old, when their mind is really, when they are vulnerable for the wrong information.
Okay, so and this is what happened to you.
Yes, and not only to me, to maybe 80-90% of all the people in Western Europe.
I'll throw a name at you here. Geert Wilders.
Yes.
Who was he?
Well, I was, the first time I heard about him, that was about 2006, 2007, and he started his own political party.
Oh, that's kind of like yesterday for us. Our kind of age group.
Yes, well, it's a relative new party that he has. It doesn't exist for a long time. And I was critical about Islam because I also thought, like everybody else, almost, thought that Islam is evil and it's a threat for society, and it's threatening our freedom, it's suppressing women and promoting terrorism and all this nonsense. I actually believed it, but Geert Wilders, he was the person that actually made it like a political statement, and his political party was based on this issue, Islamophobia, fighting Islam. And I thought, finally, someone stood up, and he will help us to protect us from this evil religion. And he did it in a very professional way. And well, I thought, well, this is the man that we need in the Netherlands to protect us. And well, again, you're always responsible for your own knowledge.
Yes.
And I will not, it's too easy to blame just media and politicians. But still, I had this information and I had these ideas about Islam. And he was the man that, well, brought all the people together with the same ridiculous ideas about Islam. And I was inspired by him.
By Geert?
Yeah.
Oh, and
yes.
So your inspiration as a young man, even
I was not that young anymore.
Wouldn't be, not in that time, not in 2007, not for us.
Ah, okay.
So we become like middle-aged even then.
Yeah.
But then a man like Wilders could actually come into your life and basically focus in a direction that you might not like, further on in your life.
No.
That's some achievement, isn't it, on his part?
Yes, well, again, he's an inspirational man, if you can say that, from a wrong point of view, of course.
Okay.
But he knows how to play the media. He's very good in debating. He is very good in performing. And, well, he is very attractive to people that are afraid of Islam and people that already have these Islamophobic ideas. And he is, basically he is making it like a main issue, like the most important issue in politics. And that is, unfortunately, it is an achievement.
He said attractive. I think somebody actually called him a beach blonde at one point.
Yes. But he's a very intelligent person. And again, if you have a debate and you see him debating with other politicians, 9 out of 10 times he wins.
Oh, seriously?
Easily, because he can talk very, very good.
So if people like us can be driven in the wrong direction by somebody like that, chances are that younger people in their teens would be even more susceptible for somebody like that. You said this, you are eventually responsible for your own knowledge.
Always. Yes.
And therefore, the concept of knowledge is therefore brought into question.
Right.
Where knowledge might not really be knowledge.
Right.
It could be just, material that has no substance to it whatsoever.
Exactly.
And this happened to you too?
It happened to me too. But then again, if you are if there is no positive sound about Islam, about Muslims, and all you hear is negative information.
Okay.
So it's very hard, even if you are if you're an intelligent person or educated person, it's very hard to resist this. It's like a very slow way of brainwashing.
So if somebody actually goes out there on the street or on the media and consistently, with a planned effort, like good PR, spreads a message which is entirely and totally wrong, it could actually become fact, within quotation marks, and knowledge.
That is what's happening
to young people.
Yes, it's very dangerous.
This is something our people should be really careful with.
Exactly, exactly.
Now, how do you know? How do you know whether something is accurate or not? I mean, is there a way that you can check things out? Would you like to share that with your opinion on that with young people in this country?
Of course, of course. Well, the thing for young people in this country is that they are protected by their government. They are protected by society.
Okay.
They have the freedom to be a Muslim. For example, the adhan that you hear on the streets in the Netherlands, it's forbidden by law.
Is it?
It is.
Oh.
That's one example, because it's the sound of evil. That's how they put it, basically. That's only one of 100 or thousands examples. But the youth is very vulnerable, especially the youth between the age of 12 and 18, because they are open-minded, they are curious, they are seeking for knowledge and information, and they are basically sitting ducks for people like Geert Wilders. And the only thing you can do to fight this is make sure that especially young people get the right information, especially about Islam. And that is one of the things that we are as a political party and as the European Dawah Foundation are trying to achieve.
And now a lot of times, actually a great part of your life has been spent with the PVV.
Well, like maybe 6 or 7 years.
6 to 7 years of the most productive time?
Probably.
Probably. And then, I'm not saying you don't have any more left in you. That's like saying I don't have any. It's like saying I don't have.
That's a relief.
Exactly. But then, like this sounds like old men talking to each other. But then, with a lot of hope for our young people, I'm sure that as I keep talking to you, we might be able to share a few mistakes that both of us we've made in life with some of our younger audience. But then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll come back with that because we're taking a very, very short break now. Thank you once again. Do bear with us. We'll be back in just a minute. Thank you.
ದೌಲತ್ಗೆ ಹಮ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಇದಾರಾಗೆ ಅಮಿಲ್ಲ ಇಸ್ನೆಗುಮ್ಗೆ ಮತಿಂ ಮದುವೆಗೆನ್ ಆಹಾರಕು ಎಫ್ಫಾರು ಎ ಇದಾರೆನ್ ಹಿಂಗಿ ಗೊತುಗೆ ಮಾಲೂಮಾತ್ ಆಮ್ ಕುರಂ ವಾಣೆ
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back and thank you so much for your patience, which is such a virtue. So my friend Arnold van Toren, and I'm here with you talking about yourself, sir.
Yes.
Now, you're with this political party with our friend Wilders leading it.
Right.
And you produced a movie. Well, no, you didn't produce it. You were actually actively engaged in the making of it. Fitna.
Well, I'm not a producer. That is a misconception. A lot of people think I'm the producer because the film was produced before I was even a member of this party.
Oh.
But I was responsible for promoting the movie, for the distribution and the PR. So
but there were so many versions of it. Which one?
Well, there were different versions made for different countries with different subtitles and different sounds.
Oh, this sounds like
it's PR.
Exactly. It sounds like good perfume packaged for different countries. And
exactly, yes.
So what exactly was this movie about?
Well, I don't want to talk a lot about this movie because that is something bad. Okay. And I feel sorry for the fact that I am involved in this movie. But the movie was basically made as forgive me the word, an eye-opener to warn people for Islam and to tell the people this is Islam. You see, it's evil, it's repression, it's terrorism, it's attacking women, it's taking away your freedom, also your freedom of mind, your freedom of thinking. And that was the message, basically, of this movie.
And
a movie is a great word, a big word. I mean, it's not really a movie. It was like very short. I think it was like 10 minutes, but still.
But
But
actually, it went viral in some places.
Yes, it did. Yes, we didn't expect that.
And you actually promoted it.
We had promoted it, yes, because I believed that it was the truth, and we had to warn people. That was really something that I believed in. I never hated Muslims. I was never. Because I don't feel hate. I don't know what hate is. But I felt responsible for the fact that I had to tell people, and our party had to, we have to warn people for Islam, and we had to spread the message that.
Listening to you, sir. I've been to your country. I even have a brother-in-law there and a nephew,
yes.
and so on. And it's a beautiful country, and I love it. And I love the sense of freedom there, and the sense of, the welcome that the people there actually show me when I get there. But this part of life there,
well,
it also exists.
I don't really agree with you, because the things are changing.
Okay.
Maybe like 10, 20 years ago, the Netherlands, Western Europe, especially the Netherlands, was a very tolerant, open-minded society.
Right.
With lots of freedom. But the last 10 years, especially last 5 years, things are changing, especially for the Muslim community.
Why
the Muslim
would that be?
Minority. And it's a minority. We have 1.2 million Muslims in the Netherlands.
And you call that a
and
minority?
we have 17 million people living in the Netherlands.
Okay.
So it's a minority. And this freedom of speech, this freedom of religion, it's only a piece of paper.
I see.
And
okay.
reality is different. There is no freedom for Muslims in the Netherlands. And I have to say that, especially in the Netherlands and France and Denmark, the hate towards the Muslim community is really growing. And I think the Netherlands is at this moment, the most anti-Muslim country in Western Europe. Islamophobia is growing, xenophobia is also growing.
Xenophobia as well.
Oh yes, absolutely. And the tolerance that we had in the past, it's completely gone. And I can say that basically there is the Muslim community minority is oppressed in this time.
Let me touch on this topic of xenophobia. Anything that is foreign is therefore worthy of fear?
Not exactly fear, but they feel, especially Muslims.
Okay.
Especially immigrants.
Immigrants?
Yes.
But not necessarily Muslim. Could be as long as you're an immigrant.
Well, immigrant discrimination is something that is also growing, unfortunately. But special immigrants from Islamic countries, they are seen as basically our enemies and a threat for our society. And the first generation Muslims that came to the Netherlands in the 50s and 60s of the last century, they didn't have a high education. Some of them didn't even read or know how to write, and they came from the mountains from Turkey and Morocco. And they were not considered a threat. But the second generation, the third generation especially, they are very good educated, most of them. They go to universities, they become engineers, dentists, doctors, and they know their rights, and they are organizing themselves in different groups, in political parties, and that is basically seen as a threat for society.
That's a threat.
That, and the fact that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the Netherlands.
Okay.
It's exploding. And not only among the immigrants, but especially among the young generation, non-Muslims, Dutch youth. And for example, the first 2 months of this year, February and January, the amounts of converts are the same as in the entire year 2014.
Oh.
So that's also very interesting. But most young people are getting interested in Islam because they hear all this negativity, and they are curious and they want to find out, is it true? And they want to know more about Islam, and they are studying Islam, and then they see it's nonsense. It's not true, what I've learned.
So basically, sometimes what you can do is you can actually promote something positively
Yes.
or even negatively,
Yes.
and it might have the same net result.
Exactly, and that is what's happening now, and that is, mashallah, you can also say, or you can say that Islam is stronger than all the enemies of Islam. The much harder they are fighting Islam, the much faster it's growing.
Yes, and we've kept our friends in the audience waiting, by the way. Like all men making mistakes.
Sure.
You know, so basically you've said that, you know, when you got involved with this movie Fitna, that was a mistake that you made. But then,
Among others.
let me put some spin on this.
Sure.
It goes like this. You made that mistake, but you've also made a tremendous recovery.
Yes.
How did you do that?
That's an easy question. It's not easy to answer. I will try to keep it short. In my last year, when I was active for the PVV of Geert Wilders, I already had some doubts about the message that we are trying to spread. But something in my heart, in my mind, I didn't know what exactly said, something like a conscious, I don't know. It says it's wrong. It's wrong. But then you put it away, of course, and then it comes back. Said, no, it's wrong. What you're doing is not. It's not right. Islam is not. You know, your ideas about Islam are wrong. About Quran is wrong, and it's a slow spark that is growing in you. And then I decided finally to. I was invited by a good friend of mine to go to a mosque, and. I was invited by a very big mosque in The Hague, and I wanted to go there maybe for 5 minutes to talk. I had some critical questions.
And while you were actually promoting this movie,
That was afterwards.
oh, after, but they actually invited you. You were not
Yes.
considered the enemy.
Exactly, and that point, that gave me some doubts. I thought, how is it possible that these people that I'm fighting basically, how come they are so open-minded towards me? How come they are inviting me? How come it's possible that they still are friendly and they are so open to talk and to debate? And I thought it can't be that wrong or bad or evil, because in that case they would never invite me. But I thought, okay, I will use the opportunity to ask some critical questions. I will stay there for 5 minutes and then I'm gone. But I actually stayed there for hours. And it basically was a very pleasant conversation, and I could ask every questions.
You must have asked them pretty hard ones.
Yes, well, I'm a very polite person, so I didn't, you know, I was very polite also there, but I was very critical. I think in a respectful way. I'm not sure, but I try to. And when I got home, I thought I was confused, and I thought, oh my God, are they getting into my brain? Maybe they warned me, don't go to a mosque, but they will brainwash you. They will tell you things about Islam that are not true. They will make it look beautiful. And okay, so I put it away. But still, this energy, this positive energy in me was growing. And I decided, okay, I want to go back to the mosque. I want to know more to learn more about Islam. Not to convert, of course. No, I just was curious. And the more I was learning about Islam, the more I was talking with these people, the more I was reading. So I started to read the Quran. I was learning about the Sunnah, Hadith. I was talking with the Imam and other Muslims. And this was going like, it took maybe a year and a half before I reached the point that I thought I was wrong. Islam is really, it's a beautiful religion. It's peaceful. It's wise, and it feels good. It gives me a warm feeling, and this didn't occur in a few weeks or a few days. It took a year, more than a year. With ups and downs, it was basically a journey. Sometimes I was motivated. Sometimes I thought, no, I don't want to do. And you know, Shaitan is everywhere, and sometimes he pulled me back. But still,
See it on fertile ground.
yeah. Well, and finally, I thought this is so beautiful. I was so wrong. And now I know more about Islam than I did before, and I learned more about Islam in that 1 year than in the entire 46 years before. And well, that finally resulted in me embracing Islam now 2 years ago in April 2012.
And here you are actually spreading
And here
the
I am.
message.
Yes. If someone would have told me that 10 years ago, I would say you're crazy. You're crazy. That will never happen.
And I have a message for young people in this country, therefore, one message from you, if I may.
Absolutely.
You know, in this country, we have problems, like young people with slight abuse problems.
Sure.
And one of the excuses is, I'm confused. You know, that the word confused.
Right.
And when you're confused, you need to do something about it. And the local expression that some of our kids would use would be haskandala. That is to get rid of, you know, the problems that you have through various sources. For those young people, the message from both of us is, there is always a way. Reach out.
Absolutely.
And something else I might say, or probably garnered from what you're saying, is our mosques, for example, even in this country,
Yes.
need to actually be that kind of haven where people could actually go and reach out for guidance and for help and so
Yes.
on. And your life has proved that point as well. And I'm sure that whoever is listening, if you are ever in a position of that, please open yourselves up, go open house, reach out to people, and be there, be supportive. Another thing is,
Very important.
this is also for young people. You might blame people. People might have hurt you. People might have done things to you. Or you might even think, without any firm base to even the accusation of blaming somebody for something, you might say that these people are wrong because somebody else told you that they're wrong. If you have any people like that in your life, people that you hate or fear or you don't like, feel free to reach out to them. Be strong. Listen to what they have to say.
Exactly.
Also.
Don't isolate yourself.
Exactly. And then come back to base,
Yes.
always. And one of
Yes.
the ways of doing this is to actually reach out to the Creator and his good influence.
Yes.
And you will always, always be supported.
That, and always think how would the Prophet, peace be upon him, have handled this problem. How would, what should he have done?
Okay.
How is he? What is his advice? What is his role model? How can I relate to the way he lived, and what should he do in the situation where I am in?
That's a good one. What did he do?
That is important.
What would he have done?
Exactly.
Use analogy. as
Exactly.
well. Wonderful.
Very
wonderful.
wise knowledge.
Well, thank you, sir. You know what happened to us? We've been talking,
Correct.
the clock's been ticking, and we've run out of time, and there's so much to talk about. But then, once again, God bless you. Thank you so much, for
Thank
being
you.
with me. It's been an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for allowing both of us, two middle-aged men talking to each other in your sitting room this evening. Bless you so much. Young people out there, it doesn't really matter. Here is someone, who says he makes a mistake. He admits it, but he knows how to correct it, and what a way he's corrected it. I'm going to take that lesson from my friend. Arnaud, it's been a pleasure. God bless you again.
Thank you.
And may peace be with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have run out of time. We will have to run away. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.